Did you read that one?
Sure did. Did you?
I did. I'm not sure how I felt about it.
Me neither.
Okay. Maybe we shouldn't have started with this.
Well, no. Okay. So here's the thing, though. Having said that,
welcome to this week's Read This Next with Laura and Nicole. This week we are talking about all the new YA books that have come out late 2019, 2020 so far. There's been a ton. We're very excited.
there's been a ton of new YA books. So we wanted to use this episode to focus in specifically. So ordinarily, we do a mix of young adult and adult books, but this week, special show, just young adult all the way. But that doesn't mean if you think that you don't like reading young adult books, you only read adult books, please stick around. You might find that some of these do appeal to you. And very often the only difference with young adult books, some of them, they may be shorter, quicker reads in some cases. And, they're about young people, but that doesn't mean they're not very worthwhile.
Yeah, so this week we don't have as many. We're not going to be doing it as structured because there's so many that we want to get through. So we're just going to kind of talk about the ones that we are really looking forward to reading, and then a couple that we have read near the end, as per usual.
Yes.
So, and of course, we'll be putting the images of the wonderful new covers in there. You might see a new trend. We will find out. There's always trends.
There's many trends this year, as always. I'm gonna jump to one that is by I believe this is a debut. Yes. Okay. So this is a mystery. Another, I guess, a little bit of a thriller, some suspense here. And I was very interested in it because of the tagline. So thrilling debut, reminiscent of fan favorites like One of Us Is Lying, which I have not actually read, but this is the good part, and the beloved classics of Agatha Christie. I'm in, right? We'll leave readers guessing until the explosive ending. So this book is All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. Nicole will graciously put in the cover for us. So it is a locked room mystery, one of those ones where, kind of like the movie Clue, or that sort of thing.
Knives Out.
Yes. What a delight that movie was.
That was
anyway great. It was so great. So here's the setup. So what do the queen bee, star athlete, valedictorian, stoner, loner, and music geek all have in common, other than basically being the Breakfast Club, one of those sorts of things? They were all invited to a scholarship dinner, only to discover it's a trap.
Who's trapping them? Intrigue.
Who could it be? Someone has locked them into a room with a bomb.
Oh.
Okay. A syringe, right? Obviously. A syringe filled with poison and a note saying that they have an hour to pick someone to kill or else everyone dies. Wow.
That sounds intense. I did not read the description before putting it on the paper. I was just like, ooh, new book. Ooh.
Right? Yes. No, I've been looking at this one for a bit. So here, so Amber Prescott, not sure which one she is determined to get her classmates and herself out of the room alive, but that might be easier said than done. No one knows how they're all connected or who would want them dead. As they retrace the events of the last year that might have triggered their captor's ultimatum, it becomes clear that everyone is hiding something, obviously.
Lies.
Yes, and with the clock ticking down, confusion turns to fear, and fear morphs into panic as they race to answer the biggest question: who will they choose to die?
That sounds really cool. Sounds very Pretty Little Liars, but shorter time period.
I know, like an hour? Okay. And
that's one of those, oh, sorry.
For all that it says, like by Agatha Christie, it's not really her style, but the whole, people seem like nice people on the surface, and then they've got all sorts of stuff going on underneath. That is very Agatha Christie, her characters.
Skeletons in the closet.
Yes, occasionally, literally. Or in the walls. That's happened.
Read Agatha Christie. I have not, because I worry that it's too spooky for me.
It is not spooky.
Also, I should read The Body in the Library first?
Doesn't matter. You can read which anyone you like first.
It's got library in the title, so
It's true. A
Gotta
very
read
good
it.
one. Similar, actually quite similar to this is her classic And Then There Were None, which is people are on an island with no way off and
mm,
they start dying and it's like, who among us is killing everyone?
gotta figure that out
Gotta figure
quick.
that out. You'd hope so, right? You'd hope so. But yeah, so I'm interested in All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. Sounds, I was going to say fun, which is dark, but nonetheless, fun.
It does sound fun though. It sounds like it'll be a fun read.
Yes. Okay, so that's my other one I wanted to point out. Let's keep going.
Love
What
it.
do you have next?
Okay, I will talk about Felix Ever After.
Okay.
Insert image here. Very cute.
Gorgeous.
Very fun.
Gorgeous cover.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is so the author, Kaysen Callender, has actually won Stonewall Awards and Lambda Awards. Pronounce that right. So this is about a transgender teen grappling with identity and self-discovery while falling in love for the first time. Very romantic. So the character, his name is Felix Love, and the description says it's ironic because he's never been in love. And he desperately wants to know what it's like and why it seems so easy for everyone but him to find someone. What's worse is, even though he's proud of his identity, Felix also secretly fears that he is one marginalization too many, Black, queer, and transgender, to ever get his own happily ever after. So it sounds like a good coming of age and a little bit of romance.
Yes. Yes.
Very
Lovely.
cute.
Lovely story.
That one's been on my to-read list for a bit.
Yes. I feel like we came across it back in June when we talked about Pride books.
Oh,
but
maybe.
didn't highlight it. I don't know that we highlighted it specifically. I know it was on the list.
I don't think we had it yet.
But yeah, sounds like a really interesting identity exploration. Yeah.
And it sounds vaguely Simon versus the Homo sapien agenda, because I think there's a character, he starts receiving like someone posts his dead name online and he starts receiving like gross bullying messages. So he has to deal with that too on the side. So I think that's what happens in Simon. What book am I thinking of?
I don't know. There is like messages being sent, but it's not bullying stuff.
It's between two people who like each other. Do their messages get exposed? Is that what it is?
I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
It's a different sort of thing, though.
I need to read it, apparently.
It's a different, like, this is a negative.
Okay.
And I think in Simon versus the Homo sapien agenda, it's complicated, but not negative.
Okay, good to know. Read both. They're both good.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your turn.
My turn. Okay. So as I've said in previous episodes, I'm not the biggest fantasy reader. I read some, but not tons. But one fantasy series that I read was the Winner's Trilogy by Marie Rutkowski. And it was quite good. And she happens to have a new book out now. So I was going to promote her new series.
Yay!
Yeah. So again, nice cover. Yeah, a drawing, this one an illustration. The series kicks off with The Midnight Lie.
Perfect.
Good title. You know, it's not it's not The Something and the Something, which so many other fantasy titles are.
Yeah. I don't know why that became such a big trend.
But it's huge trend. Yes.
I mean, it works, but now I'm tired.
Yes, it is not very exciting anymore. Certainly not. But yeah, so this is not that. A different title. So something that's kind of fun is that it is set in the same world as her last trilogy. So if you like that one, you may, want to go back and live there some more. But I think like it is a standalone. You don't have to have read those ones. And this one is an epic LGBTQ romantic fantasy. So
of course.
Fun. So this is it's a fantasy world, so it's not set in our world. So I'll read you the little description. Where Niram lives, crime abounds, a harsh tribunal rules, and society's pleasures are reserved for the high kith.
New
Rude.
words.
Yes. You know, like keep things for yourselves. Life in the ward is grim and punishing. People of her low status are forbidden from sampling sweets.
What?
Or, yes, or wearing colors.
Okay.
Okay. You either follow the rules or pay a tithe and suffer the consequences. Miriam keeps her head down and a dangerous secret close to her chest. What could it be? But then she encounters Sid, a rakish traveler from far away who whispers rumors that the high case possesses magic. I feel like a little bit if everything was so terrible and then I learned that the high case also had magic in addition to all the other power, I might kind of be like, well, I don't know if that inspires me to rise up. It's even
What are
more
we gonna
powerful than
do?
I thought.
Unless she
Maybe has some
magic.
that may be her secret. Don't know.
Could
But
be.
it could be. Sid tempts Miriam to seek that magic for herself, but to do that, she must surrender her old life, place her trust in this sly stranger who asks, above all, not to be trusted.
All these
So-
tropes, they sound so good.
All these tropes, you know, magic, secrets, lies. Sounds like a pretty good time.
It
I really enjoyed her book, and I really enjoyed the romance in her last one. I remember that really stuck with me. So, you know, if you're into the romantic in your fantasies, might be a good one to check out.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna do Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This one is on Cloud Library.
It
Sorry.
is. And before you keep going, I just want to say that there is more than one book called Cemetery Boys, and there's even more than one YA book called Cemetery Boys. So if you're looking for this one, look for the one by Aiden Thomas.
With this cover.
With this cover.
This one has been on my Goodreads to read list for so long, and it's also like I requested it for the librarian who runs the Goodreads, the Cloud Library ordering. I was like, can you buy this, please? I need to read it. And it's out now. It's on Cloud Library. It looks really cute. Okay, so Yadriel has summoned a ghost, and now he can't get rid of him. When his traditional Latinx family has problems accepting his gender, Yadriel becomes determined to prove himself a real Brujo. Brujo? Brujo. Oh, that makes sense. J. Okay. With the help of his cousin and best friend Maritza, he performs the... Oh, I have the wrong page. Oh, no.
He performs the ritual himself, then sets out to find the ghost of his murdered cousin and set it free.
It sounds good.
However, did you find your next page?
No, just keep reading.
Okay. However, the ghost he summons is actually Julian Diaz, the school's resident bad boy.
How'd that happen?
And Julian is not about to go quietly into death. He's determined to find out what happened and tie up some loose ends before he leaves. Left with no choice, Yadriel agrees to help Julian so that they can both get what they want. But the longer they spend together, the less he wants them to leave.
Ooh. It sounds really good, and it sounds like did you read Meg Cabot's Mediator series?
I did not.
Okay, it's about this girl who sees ghosts, and then she like meets this one ghost, and he's kind of handsome.
That one special ghost.
And like I'm not gonna spoil it or anything, but like same idea where they were like falling in love with each other, and they didn't want to like leave. And I'm really excited about it because it just looks really good, and I like the idea of like summoning ghosts. I think that's just it. I love ghosts, but I don't like spooky ghosts.
Right.
Yeah, so
nice ghosts, not spooky ghosts.
Nice ghosts. Casper. Yeah. I like Casper.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like there's a new TV show called Julie and the Phantoms, and it's about a girl who has a bunch of ghost friends.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I thought that was going to be like a Gem and the Hologram situation.
No, it's a girl and some ghost boys in her band.
But they're ghosts. Okay.
That people can see when they play music or something. I'm way off on a tangent. It's just because it's another thing where there's a girl who seems to be having feelings, a character who has feelings for a ghost in their life. And what do you do about that?
How can you romance that?
Can't
They're
get
dead.
past that. What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. It's been on my list for a while, and I love the cover, and
It's a nice cover.
it's very intriguing. Like, what is he holding in his hand? I don't know. I'm excited about it.
I don't know
Read
what
this
he is
book.
holding in his hand.
Right? Like, it looks like a honeycomb almost, but I don't think that that's what it is. But
I was going to say a skull.
oh, maybe.
I don't think it's that either. It looks too textured.
That's true. It does. It looks a little like a honeycomb skull. But yeah, I love the cover and it looks really good. So everybody read it with me and then tell us what you think of it, please.
Yeah. That's a good plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think maybe I'll do the another realistic one.
Mhm.
So this is a book called Clap When You Land, and it's by Elizabeth Acevedo.
I think so.
Acevedo. You can always look it up in our show notes. We'll have the spellings there. And Nicole will display the cover for us.
Ta-da!
Yes, there's two different covers we were just discussing. There's one cover where it is an illustration, but the colors are kind of dull. They're not particularly exciting. And then there is another cover where it looks like photographs and it's nice brighter colors, but the photographs have been like airbrushed within an inch of their lives and they kind of look like dolls. So neither is perfect for me.
It looks like they almost took like a real face and then they were like, let's just smooth it.
Yep.
Like, she also wrote With the Fire on High. That's the one I was thinking of. It's got, this one right here. And we have that one on
Cloud
Library too.
Okay. All right. So if you like this one, there's another one you can check out.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one is about, it's about two girls, and one lives in New York and one lives in the Dominican Republic. And they both end up being involved with the same tragedy. There's a plane crash. And then they find out that they're both mourning a father who was on the plane. And then they find out, well, wouldn't you know it, it's the same man. So they're actually half sisters. He had been spending like his summers in the Dominican Republic and he had one family there. And then the rest of his time in New York and had a second family there.
Dad of the year,
right? So now the two of them are have learned about each other and are kind of exposing the strange double life their father had, and whether they can, they start finding out how they can support each other basically and move forward after learning the stuff that they thought they knew about their family and about themselves. Is a lot of it is a lie. So it's a narrative novel in verse, and the description says that it brims with both grief and love about the devastation of loss, the difficulty of forgiveness, and the bittersweet bonds that shape our lives.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, sounds like, maybe one of those cathartic reads.
Like you cry a lot, but then you're like, wow, I feel connected to the world again.
Sure, exactly. That's called, did I even say it yet? It's called Clap When You Land. I think maybe I did.
I wasn't sure if you said it, but we did post the picture, so they saw the title. Yeah, so that one looks really good.
It does look good.
Do we want to just move into our recs then real quick? Did you want to read or did you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Okay. The book, so I have read this one and I really, really liked it. It's called, oh shoot, I already forgot it. Spin the Dawn. I keep getting it mixed up with its sequel called Unravel the Dusk, so I keep wanting to call it Unravel the Dawn, which is not correct. So again, Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. It is a series. It might just be a duology. I think it's going to be a trilogy though. Anyways, the scripter says, and this is probably the most accurate, it's Project Runway mixed with Mulan, but in a much like less kind of tacky way that you're thinking.
That's very confusing, but intriguing.
Yeah, so the main character is like this girl. Her dad's a tailor.
Okay.
She wants to become a tailor. Like she's like her brother's supposed to take over the business, but he doesn't want it. He's not good at it, and she's like, I'm good at it. I can take over it. And so to prove herself, she's competing for the role of the imperial tailor. That's what it is. So there's all these dudes in the room, and they're all like, oh yeah, she's pretending to be a man. Forgot to mention that. She's Mulaning it and she's pretending to be a man. Yeah. So they're competing to create these like very intricate and like complicated tasks. And her father has gifted her these scissors, and she works so hard, and people are trying to sabotage her, and she discovers that these scissors have magic and they can help her like complete these tasks, which are near impossible. So the final dress, there's like the prince, whatever, he's getting married, and the princess does not want to get married, so she demands these completely unrealistic things. Like she wants the tears of the moon to be in her dress kind of thing. So she goes on a big grand adventure with this guy, and romance romance ensues, and it's really good. So yeah, Mulan meets Project Runway, but in a not tacky way.
That's a wild combination.
Yeah,
it kind of works.
Yeah, and I don't think we have Unravel the Dusk yet, but we are going to order it.
Fabulous.
Or I will get us to. Yeah.
It sounds very good. So my rec is Not So Pure and Simple by Lamar Giles. And here's the cover. So this is an author. He's written YA books already, but I think his other ones were mysteries. So this is his first just straight contemporary. And it sounds, when you read the description, it sounds kind of heavy because it spotlights the consequences of societal pressure, confronts toxic masculinity, and explores the complexity of what it means to be a real man. And you're like, oh, doesn't sound like a lot of fun, really, but it is. It's fun and funny. I think it's a good read for teens, and I think actually maybe really for adults too, because the sort of things that teens are navigating today in terms of understanding different identities and understanding the way that society is influencing different genders and how they are and how things fit together. It's really interestingly explored in this book through our main character, who is a guy, and he has a crush on a girl. He is at a church event where they're talking about volunteering, and he's like zoning out, not paying attention. And then the girl gets up to go volunteer, and he's like, hey, I'll go get up and volunteer too. And he gets up, and then it turns out he's volunteered to take a purity pledge.
Oh no.
You know, accidental purity pledge, everyone's
as one does. Yeah.
And so at the same time that this is going on, in his school, they're supposed to be learning sex ed, basically. So the other kids in the purity pledge aren't allowed to take the sex ed class. So they start sending him questions that are like, hey, can you find out what, is this normal? Just feet, ? Or whatever.
Wait, so did he end up doing the purity pledge?
Yes.
So he's allowed to go to sex ed classes, but the girls are not?
No, it's that I'm not sure if this is also the same here, but in the States, your parents can basically excuse you from that sort of thing as under religious reasons. Okay. So this church, the pastor has basically directed all the parents to not put their kids in it. Okay. And instead all the teens are taking this fun purity pledge together. And he is in the taking the health classes because he and his mom have just started attending the church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're not deep into it. But yeah, so he ends up asking questions for them, and he's like, can't you just like look this up online? Instead of me having to go ask these I feel like a pervert, like they're normal questions, but to ask questions for someone else is a little awkward.
Yeah.
Yes, but these people, some of their parents are so strict they don't even have access to computers.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's trying to navigate these two things, and also, he has a crush on this girl, and as it goes through, he kind of has to confront the fact that just because he's being nice to her, he feels like she owes him something, but she doesn't. Spoiler, and he thinks just because he's a nice guy, like, why is she wanting to spend time with someone else? Yeah, he has to kind of interrogate what that is. Really interesting stuff, and really interesting at how religion can be meaningful for people, but also at the same time it can be you know like there can be things you really disagree about it, and how you might have to try and reconcile those two things together. Yeah, it's just straight up funny at some parts. It doesn't sound like it's going to be, but it really is. It is funny and enjoyable. I liked it.
That's why it's good that you read it, because otherwise we wouldn't know that it's funny.
Exactly. You'd be like, yeah, that sounds like a really good time. No,
Love it.
but it was. Yeah. Yes. It's toxic masculinity, teen sexuality, covers all that stuff in a fun, interesting way. I think it would be very thought-provoking for anybody, basically.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds like it would be a very interesting read.
Yeah.
And I think you had a couple more that you wanted to list at the end.
Speed
round.
Very speed round. Okay. So this is just quite a few authors and series that have been popular. They have new installments out this year that you may not have known about. So I am going to include all of these. If you go to the blog post, you can take a look and see if there's any authors whose name you recognize. But just to hit a couple, if you read the Selection series, which is a couple years ago now, by Kiera Cass, there's a new book out in that series called The Betrothed. So dip your toe back into that. Marie Lu, who wrote the Legend series, The Young Elites, and Warcross, she has a new book called The Kingdom of Back. So if you're a fan of hers, check that out. The sequel to One of Us is Lying, which was a thriller that was really hot last year or 2 years ago now, maybe. The sequel to that is out. One of Us is next. And there's a new Miss Peregrine book, if you like the Miss Peregrine School for Peculiar Children. That series is still ongoing, which you might not have realized. Lots of people don't.
My phone's ringing.
Your phone is ringing. I'll say the last one while she's turning off her phone. The last one is by Becky Albertini and Aisha Said. And Becky Albertini wrote Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, which we talked about earlier. And they've got a new book they co-wrote together. So if you enjoyed that, you might want to check that out. And that's that. That's my speed round.
That's all the YA books that you need to know this year. Obviously, there's more. Check them all out.
Some of the YA books, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to try and do a official real outro this time. So let's, I guess I'll do it. We'll see how it goes.
Sure.
This has been Read This Next. We are here every Friday at 2 p.m. on YouTube at YouTube at TBPL, and on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at TBayPL, or you can just search Thunder Bay Public Library. I'm sure we'll pop up there too. And yeah, come see us next week. Like, comment, subscribe. We love hearing from you.
And if you want to see a list of all the titles that we've mentioned and all the authors, you can always find the show notes at tbplofftheshelf.com.
Absolutely. All right, that's it. See you guys next week.
Bye.